So, before I begin, I want to give our praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. The honor to the apostles and elders, great most to the Shalom to the Akim. Teaching this word, throughout the four corners in truth and sincerity. Back on the lesson, the spring prayer, Ba'ashem, Shai. And Lord, one is edifying to the elect. Slakia. I'm a little under the weather. But this video, it's gonna be like a part 1 to Jeremiah 50. Going through the first couple of verses. And it's gonna be like a series. Because it's a prophecy in Jeremiah 50. Babylon being destroyed. And the way it describes it being destroyed is not likened to how ancient Babylon was destroyed. Right? Showing you that America, represents a Babylon according to the scriptures. You may read it, be like, oh, and when you go back into history, look at it like Babylon wasn't destroyed like this. It wasn't made desolate, right? Without inhabitant. You don't have, nations shoot arrows at her, shoot missiles or nukes at her in this fashion. So what is it talking about? Something that's going to happen in the future. And this debunks, people are saying, oh, Babylon or America is not going to be destroyed. Where is it in the Bible? You guys are just saying it out of your ass because you don't like it here, etc. But hey, man, it's in the scriptures. We bringing it out because why? Like it says in Amos 3:7, it says, surely Lord Yahweh will do nothing, but he revealed his secret unto his servants the prophets. So we have been given the secrets from Yahweh Shai, right? It's like we've been given the secrets of Yahweh Shai. And the true men, it's like it. The true men have the true understanding, right? And just think about it with common sense. Babylon is so wicked. Why wouldn't the Lord, destroy this place? Why wouldn't the Lord destroy America, right? I'm gonna start Jeremiah 50:1. It should the word that the Lord Yahweh spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah. It's like it by Jeremiah the prophet. And so this was told to who? This was told by who? Jeremiah, right? But it's talking about what? Another Babylon. The scripture also called America, what, that virgin daughter of, that virgin daughter of Babylon. And Isaiah 47:1, it says, come down, since in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, no, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. So hey, we know that virgin daughter of Babylon represents, America. America is reference to another, Babylon. And when it says sit in the dust, that dust represents confusion. And it says there shall be no more throne. Meaning that America's ultimately going to get, taken down. That is the prophecy. Even though it's called the virgin daughter, because nobody touched America, the Lord's going to touch this place, man. All right? That's why you have chapters like Jeremiah 50 and also Jeremiah 51, telling you of the destruction that the Lord is going to lay, or the judgment the Lord is going to do to America, right? It says, declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard. Right? Set up the standard, the prophecies, right? We telling you the prophecy of America, what is soon to come. Prophesy means to what? Say before. The Lord is using us to tell our people what is about to come to pass before it happens, right? It says, publish and conceal not, right? It says, say Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces. Her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. And Bel, Merodach, you know, are Babylon, you know, deities, right? Because when you go into the blue letter, you know, right quick, I'm gonna read the second verse in the NLT too. It says, "This is what the Lord Yahweh says: Tell the whole world and keep nothing back. Raise a signal flag to tell everyone that Babylon will fall. Her images and idols will be shattered. Her gods, Baal and Marduk will be utterly disgraced." Right? Going to Baal, or, you know, Baal is, it says, a chief Babylon deity. It's right. Marduk is a chief deity of the Babylonians, right? You know, same thing how you have now. You have different, you know, idols that these people worship, but that will not be able, okay, to save you, you know, from the times to come. You know, because Jake be in that shit too, serving Babylon deities, you know, like Jesus Christ, okay. You know, third verse, it says, "For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall depart, both man and beast." All right, that north is talking about what nation? Okay, the Lord is going to use a very specific nation, and there's going to be other nations as well, but it's a very specific nation that the Lord is going to use. Okay, you know, America's main enemy, or number one enemy. Okay, the Russians. Okay, that's that north is going to come up against this place. You see it too, how Putin has, or how, you know, it was an article. You know, brothers, you probably know what I'm talking. You definitely know what I'm talking about. They had, you know, on the news, missiles basically pointed to what I believe it was California, and I believe not so long ago, a couple years back, they had, you know, their missile, their nukes, you know, like a simulation, you know, pointed to Florida. So the Lord is already putting it out there that America's going to be destroyed, right? And the Lord is using us to pinpoint in the scriptures out there that's talking about that. You know, like the scriptures, like also the scriptures saying 2 Corinthians 9, right? Measured out of time diligently within itself. We measure in the time by seeing what's going on in the world and bringing it back to the scriptures. Okay, and we're breaking it down to our people, for they can be able to receive it, right? Like I said in the NLT in the second verse, you know, tell the whole world and keep nothing back. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're not keeping nothing back. We're not holding back no message of Yahweh Shema Shai, right? Because it's our job, you know, to teach. You know, the Lord put the Spirit on, you know, us to teach the word. That's what we got to do. Okay, you know, like you know, no matter the condition, right? Like that football player, what he said, you know, Jalen Hurts, he said, rain, sleet, or snow, the Eagles is trained to go. But hey, you know, rain, sleet, or snow, hey, the prophets, you know, we ready to go, you know, and teach. You know, but fourth verse, you know, and it says, "They shall remove and they shall depart, both man and beast." It says, "And in those days," well, it says, "which shall make her land desolate." And that also proves that what, you know, this is not talking about ancient Babylon, right? It's not talking about ancient Babylon, because ancient Babylon didn't get completely desolate. Okay, it didn't get turned completely desolate, right? So that can be talking about ancient Babylon. You know, it says, "And in those days, and in that time, saith the Lord Yahweh, the children of Israel shall come, they," you know, yeah, more edification as well, you know, going into history, you know, because you had the Babylonians, you had the Medo-Persians, right? You know, then when the Medo-Persians ultimately took over, okay, I believe Babylon was made a city-state. It wasn't made desolate. It says, "And in those days and in that time, saith the Lord Yahweh, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping. They shall go and seek the Lord Yahweh their power. And they shall ask the way to Zion with their faces to the word, saying, Come, let us join ourselves to the Lord Yahweh, to perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten." And we're living in those times. Okay, dry bones waking up. You know, we're repenting and turning back to Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay, like I say in Baruch, you know, because you got to go precept on precept. Baruch 2:30 says, For I knew that they will not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves, and shall know that I am the Lord their power. And I will give them a heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name, and return from their stiff neck, and from their wicked deeds. For they shall remember the way. They shall remember the way of their fathers, which sinned before the Lord, and I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords of it, and I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their power, and they shall be my people, and I will no more drive my people out of Israel, out of the land that I have given them. So, hey, this is the time that we coming into, but by us, us returning to the Lord, repenting, and when that time comes, when we get delivered out of this place, that everlasting covenant, that is stated, of that everlasting covenant, according to Hebrews, 8, it's starting at 10. It says, for this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts. Salaki. And write them in their hearts, and I'll be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me from the least to the greatest. For I'll be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. And in that he saith, a new covenant he had made the first old, now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready. It's lucky. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away. So hey, this is the new covenant. The law, statutes, commandments being put within our inward parts, where all the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, we are the true Israelites, we are the true Jews of the scriptures, we are a chosen people of the Lord, right? In the kingdom, we're basically going to be perfect, okay? Like I said in 11 verse, we'll have to tell Jake, like how we doing now on the highways and byways, telling Jake to repent, okay, to the Lord. You got to know the law, statutes, commandments. You got to stop committing wickedness, and etc. It won't be like that in the kingdom, right? Show you what as well, that we are not in the new covenant now. And it says, my people had been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place, right? Because of Israel, we've been very, very rebellious. Okay, serving other gods, right? So we even tell you that in Jeremiah 3 and 6. It says, the Lord Yahweh said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, hast thou seen which backsliding Israel had done? She has gone up upon every high mountain and upon every green tree, and there had played the harlot. And I saw, after she had done all these things, turned thou unto me, but she returned not, and her treacherous sister Judah saw it. Right? So, how did Israel play the harlot? How did we do that? Serving idols. Okay, serving different gods. That's not our true power. The name of a God is Yahweh. Right, which means he is or he exists. And the true name of his son, okay, is Yahweh Shai. Okay, which means he saved or he delivers. And that's who our people call Jesus, but that's not his true name. Okay. Right, so in this, you see that, Northern Kingdom was going off, right, and ultimately, Southern Kingdom followed after, right. And this is, I saw, when for all the causes whereby blacksliding Israel committed adultery, I put her away and given her bullet divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. So see, all the tribes, Northern and Southern Kingdom, we all them, was serving idols at one point, right? But Lord is still giving us that way back unto him. And that's the times that we're living in now. You see? Like in Jeremiah 50, and it's Salakia once again, under the weather. It says 7. I'm gonna read 6 again. It says, my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. It says, So I guess it's all that found them have devoured them. And the adversary said, we offend not because they have sinned against the Lord. This is the habitation of justice, even the Lord Yahweh, the hope of their fathers, right? You know, you see our enemies, okay? When you read Psalms 83, okay, all our enemies have consulted together, okay, to come up against us, okay? You know, they actually, you know, devoured us, you know, took us down. Scripture say, what nation have not gone up for spoils? And it's only like that because, why? We sinned against the Lord, right? Judas 5 and 17, it says, and whilst they sinned not before their power, they prospered, because the Most High had hated iniquity, because the Most High that had hated iniquity was with them. So see, while we sinned not, while we was on point, the Lord was with us, right? And now that we did go off, the Lord gave us, you know, into the hands of our enemies. It says, but when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their power was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. But now are they returned to their power, and are come up from the palaces, or the places where they were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where the sanctuary is, and are seated in a hill country, for it was desolate. Right, so once when we return back to the Lord, the Lord's gonna put us, you know, be in the head once again. Okay. It says, now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, and if they sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin. Right? Because again, the Lord has given the laws and statutes, commandments unto Israel. Right? And then when the Lord sees us straying away from that path, he judges us like a father would. Okay. Let us consider that this shall be their ruin, because ultimately it is our downfall. Because even the heathens know it. Right, that's why they, you know, consult together. Okay, you know, they make us serve JC. They tell Jake that they black. They tell them that we you know, that we started from slavery. They don't want us to remember who we are, because when we do, you know, like I said in the 17th verse, we prospered. Right, let me get the word prospered right in the Edamon right quick. See, be successful, thrive, advance in any good thing, cause to succeed, render happy. So he was striving, you know, he was successful, you know. Why? Because we had the Lord on our side. Okay. You know what's saying? Google, you should succeed in material matters, be financially successful, do well. Right. So we be successful in whether it was in battle. You know, especially in battle, the Lord was with us. You know, he's taking out our enemies. Because even when, what it says in Kings, you know, if the Lord be for us, who can be against us? Now imagine that as a collective, as a whole nation, who really can stand against us with a true power, right? Because even when you read Psalm 6, Psalms 115, right quick, I'm going to jump back to Jeremiah. You know, it says, Psalms 115, I'm going to start at 1. It says, now unto us, O Lord, not unto us, but unto thy name give glory, for thy mercy and for thy truth's sake. Wherefore should the heathen say, where is not their power? But our power is in the heavens, and he had done whatsoever he had pleased. Right, the Lord do whatever he want. It says, their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Noses, but they have they, but they smell not. They have hands, but they handle not. Feet have they, but they walk not. Neither speak they through their throat. They that make them are like unto them, so is everyone that trusting in them. Or Israel, trust in the Lord, trust thou in the Lord Yahweh. He is their help and their shield. So, you know, you see the other idols, you know, don't have no power. They're not real. They don't, you know, they're not like the Lord at all in no way of fashion, right? Back to Jeremiah 50. My phone about to die. Salakia. Jeremiah 50 and 7. It says, all that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord Yahweh. So what the heathens do? They think that they're justified, right? The habitation. Let me see what it says in the NLT. Salakia. All who have found them devoured them. The enemy said, we did nothing wrong in attacking them, for they sinned against the Lord. right? True. True. That is true. You know, they did do nothing wrong. Technically, they didn't do nothing wrong because the Lord used them to take us down, right? We did sin against the Lord. It says, remove out of the midst of Babylon and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, be as the he-goats before the flocks. And when you, learn about the Chaldeans, they're like, the wise, men, okay, that do witchcraft, like warlocks and witches. Like you got the elites, okay, that practice witchcraft, and they're on a high, level. It says, for lo, I will cause for I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, for they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken, right? An assembly of great nations out of the north country. So you're gonna have Russia, all right, that's gonna again play a major part, in destroying America. Okay. Precept for Jeremiah 51 and 28. It says, prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes. The Medes represents the Russians. The captains thereof and all the rulers thereof in all the land of his dominion. And the land shall tremble in sorrow. For every purpose of the Lord Yahweh shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon desolation without inhabitant. Proving you again, this is not talking about ancient Babylon, right? Shalakia. Now talk about ancient Babylon. America will be destroyed without inhabitant. It's going to be only, doleful creatures, like I say in Isaiah 13. It says, for lo, I will raise and cause up to come against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. Because you have Russia, you have Iran, China. There's going to be a lot of nations coming against, America. Even America's allies will come against America, because it's ultimately the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai. Okay, this is his purpose, to destroy this wicked kingdom, to destroy Esau's kingdom. It says, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, and none shall return in vain. And those arrows are talking about the nukes that these nations have. Okay, the nukes that you hear about, that these nations, that Russia and China and Iran, they just have them just ducked off. They will be used, right? Because the Lord put it into these scientists' minds. For example, Robert Oppenheimer put into his mind, to make, these weapons of mass destruction. That's how he knows of the Lord. Okay. Even being able to tap into that, they talk about, splitting atoms and etc. That's the Lord's domain. You can't touch that without the Lord giving you the, the download of how to do it. It says, and Chaldea shall be a spoil, and all that spoil shall be satisfied, said the Lord Yahweh. So you see, Babylon will be destroyed. Okay, and the elites will get taken out of power. This is the purpose that the Lord will do. Okay, nothing will be able to stop it. Okay, download when this lesson was edifying. Give our praises to Yahweh, the bonus to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the Akim teaching, the four corners and truth, sincerity, shalom.